Hey, we're looking today at how to play some heavy rock style lead guitar. That's a lot of words that guitarists like to hear in one sentence. Now very often heavy rock is going to involve playing some riffs and then some solos. So what we normally be doing at this stage is looking how to create a melody. Hard rock isn't always known for particularly melodious guitar playing, perhaps more sort of exciting guitar playing, but nevertheless our usual approach is still going to work here pretty well if we tailor it to a heavy rock style. So to create a melody, we're going to play a drone riff. This is actually really common in certain genres of heavy rock. And there's really a bit of a hack to creating these melodies, is to use the top open E string as a pedal tone. So what we're going to do is create a riff using chord tones from the second string, using our chord progression of E minor, G, C and A minor that we're looking at today. And we think, what's the chord tone for E minor? What happens on the second string? It's an open B. What happens on the second string for a G chord? It's that D on the third fret. What happens in the C chord? The first fret, the C note, and for an A minor chord, again it's the C note. So we've got like a little 4-note melody again, as we quite often do, and we're just going to add in this top open E to it. I know I can do that because in the key of E minor, the E note is going to work with any of the chords. A little bit of a hack. And in fact, any key that you see has an E in it, you can do this little trick of having a pedal tone going, create a melody on the second string. Don't worry, let that top open E string ring out all the way. And just to create a rock feel, we're just going to do loads of down picks. That's our first two bars, E minor and G, simple as that, right? The trick with the C and the A minor is, I've got the same note, so I'm just going to throw a little passing tone between them so we create a bit of a melody. But here's a really simple example of a heavy rock lead guitar melody part which might go along with the song. These work quite well for intros. Let's have a listen. Great, really simple. These work particularly well for very fast songs, but of course, as usual, we can be a little bit more adventurous once we're comfortable with the system, with how it's working. We found our chord tones on the second string. We looked at our chord chart and thought, right, so I've got a melody of 1, 2, 3, 4, because I found these notes in my chords, and then I added the top open E string. Now I'm just going to add in some more of the scale notes. Now in the key of E minor, as we're in today, the notes on the top two, well, the notes on the second string is all we need is the B, C and D, which are they're already in the chords. So just, you can take some risks, just create a melody using all of these. Aim for the chord tones, but all these notes are going to work as passing tones between them. So let's have a listen, see how this works, just with a few more extra notes added in as passing notes between the chord tones. And that's really it. Listen for the Foo Fighters do this an awful lot. Learn to Fly, the intro for Learn to Fly, and Monkey Wrench I think as well, have exactly this. They've got some pedal tones at the top, and then good old Dave Grohl will be playing a melody on the second or the third string that he's taken out of the chords, tied them together. Sounds really nice. And the pedal tones in there give us that little bit of intensity and tension that heavy rock likes to hear. And the intro riff to Night Train by Guns N' Roses is another great example. Very similar thing, letting those top open strings do all the hard work, and a simple melody that you create on the second or third strings. That's hard rock melody. But let's play some heavy rock solos. Now, being as this is aimed at sort of fairly early stage players, we're not going to be tearing up and down with some speed arpeggios. We're going to be creating some intensity by doing, first of all, this trills. Now we're going to use the E minor pentatonic scale to begin with, simple enough. I'm focusing on the top three strings. I don't want to waste time trying to play hard rock solos on the bottom three strings, not yet at least. So the top three strings that we're going to be using. Top three strings in a bit. So this E note down here and that fourth string is going to be very, very helpful. But I'm just going to focus on these top three strings, and a trill is just hammer-ons and pull-offs. Yeah, so I'm just going to hammer that note down, pull it off, work on that technique. It works on all three of these strings. A little bit of a pro tip is to finish on the E note down there. Finish on an E note in general is going to work well. Heavy rock soloing is about creating lots of intensity. Yeah, do that by repeating the notes with the trill. But then when you feel you're coming to the end of your phrase, go home, go back to your E note. It's going to sound like you finished what you were saying. So let's have a listen to how that works with the track. another lovely idea to play some heavy rock solos. Again, it's to do that building intensity. So what you've really got to do with heavy rock solos, heavy rock's all about intensity, is to play little groups of 3 notes. Now, because we're playing in 4/4 time signatures, at least for current stages, and very often you'll be playing in keys which, sorry, tempos and key signatures which like groups of 4. The groups of 3, they do what's called rhythmic displacement. We don't have to get too much into what that means, but just choose 3 notes. So if we go up to the full E minor scale rather than just the E pentatonic, and it looks like this on these top 3 strings. You can see there's 3 notes on this top string, there's 3 notes on this second string. So if I just play a little lick, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The very repetition of that is what gives it the intensity, because people's ears are thinking, oh, now what? They want to hear the resolution. So just choose 3 notes in a row and keep them working. And because it's an odd number, it's going to create an interesting sort of rhythmic effect as well. So any 3 notes. And then once you've finished, you want to walk back down again to your E note. Just a nice, comfortable, safe way to finish off your phrases. So a couple of nice hacks. Let's listen to a solo which includes all of those ideas, some trills and some of those groups of 3. Here we go. Great. Another little pro tip is that if you played a lick you thought worked, do it again. You want to do it again. Yeah? You can use them more than once. No one's going to ask for their money back. So yeah, repeat phrases that you played and you thought sounded good. Everybody does it. But listen to some of the classic. Eddie Van Halen, brilliant at creating tension in his, particularly using odd numbers, odd note groupings, actually odd numbers of notes. So Panama by Van Halen would be a great example. Iron Maiden, Run to the Hills has got a solo which has got lots of these legato licks in it, quicker than we might be doing at early stages. But yeah, check out the solo for that Run to the Hills for some of the legato ideas for adding tension to your solos. That is how you play, my friends, heavy rock lead guitar.